Okay, that was a solid intro, I think. Yep. That was a solid intro. All right. I think we're good. It's Will.
That's pretty solid.
AKA ZombieNikon, and today I'm here with Jake, AKA Yakovia, if you want to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look good. You look solid. I don't know. I don't really care too much about intros or how they look. This is the default sound that comes with this one. So
that makes sense.
But I guess the whole reason we're doing a podcast, I don't know what, like, why? Is it because we just talk a lot?
Yeah, we bullshit a lot.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah.
You need to come closer to your mic, you weirdo.
Yeah, I'm being.
Yeah, quit panicking. Yeah, it's gonna be awkward. A little ASMR for people. I think that's best. That's how it works really well.
Yeah.
But
come on, baby, turn the lights down low.
So yeah, see, I don't think we have any, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, credible expertise in anything, other than just years of experience.
Not that we're gonna bullshit about, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, so you and I both have a lot of experience playing all sorts of games, tabletop, video games, random nerd junk. On top of that, just several years of life experience. You're almost what, like 52 now or something?
I was waiting
right around
for it.
there.
No, I do turn 30 in next month, though, so
That's true. Yeah,
I'm pretty much dead at this point. You know, social life's over. Can't drink without feeling bad for 3 weeks. You know, that's kind of how it goes.
True. Yeah. So, actually, you missed a very valuable thing this week that I think the people are going to want to know about. It hurt my friendship with you a lot.
Yeah, did it?
Yeah, you missed D&D this weekend.
Yes, I did.
And my lovely wife's character, the druid that you guys have, died horribly because of it. So
is it because of it, though?
Yeah, it's like I totally bounced an encounter and didn't. I'm going to need you to make a friendship check, and you're going to be rolling with disadvantage. So
hold on.
What are you pulling out right now?
I got a coin. We can flip it heads or tails.
Just 50-50?
Yeah.
Well, it's disadvantage, so don't you... What do you, flip twice and then, like, pick the tails of the two?
If you pick tails, then, like, yeah, if it's tails once, then I lose automatically, you know?
Okay.
So heads because it has a head on it.
All right. Yep.
All right.
Oh, I don't know what that was.
Oh, tails, so you win.
Oh, yeah. See, that means you're a terrible friend, and that's what that is. I also made them roll for Whistler Sanity at one point. So... just to catch you up to speed on what happened, they were traveling southward towards Windcrest, which is hashtag finrat.com. And while they were traveling southward, they ended up coming across several, like, statues of all the gods and everything, and they were all defaced, destroyed, you know, broken down, shattered, all the classic, you know, tropes. And they were trying to figure out who this was. And then at the same time, the cleric, Taylor's character, she was having, like, dreams. Yeah, Althea. She was having dreams about all this stuff from Celeste, and almost to a T, it all came to a head where they caught up to some of these, like, random cultists that were, like, burning stuff and, like, tearing down statues and doing all that fanciness. And then along with that, there was a lighthouse that was kind of in the distance. So they kind of had a choice of either going, like, to confront the cultists with this long caravan train that they were, like, going with, or they could go over to the lighthouse and see what was happening there. And they decided to split up, and they sent your character, Whistler, the robot, over to the lighthouse along with Marshall Slate, Bree's friend.
Right.
And so because you guys went to the lighthouse with the caravan, you weren't there to help them with these 7 cultists that they witnessed because they scouted it out and did the good thing in D&D. And then all this shit went to hell in a handbasket because it was 7 versus 4. And then this one dude just kept coming back to life and then just fireballing them repeatedly. It was insane.
Yep.
And so it's your fault, I guess, is what we're
is that
saying.
what you're trying to say? Counter argument, don't split the party.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And then you would have had Marshall Slate there as well, an NPC who's pretty good, pretty solid.
Yeah, he's broke as hell, honestly.
Yeah.
And so whenever you went to the lighthouse, which is something I'm going to have to roll with you, we're going to have to do that encounter, like, separately, because you had to fight off a similar amount of cultists. I think it was like 7 or 8 with like one leader or whatever that I built.
Yeah.
And then Whistler actually ended up capturing one, taking him up to the top of the lighthouse and was trying to interrogate him. And then when the party showed up, after like 3 hours, because they did like a short rest and then traveling to the lighthouse and all that stuff, he tossed the guy over the top. And then they were like, hey, Cap's dead. Whistler, what are you going to do about it? And then I was like, well, I guess I have to roleplay Whistler. And I was like, well, someone roll a sanity check for him. And then they rolled like stupid low, and so it dropped your sanity score by 1, and then you chose like the, I don't know, construct action, robotic, whatever we're calling it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, huh, that's sad. And then just he dipped out, dipped out and went back downstairs.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Hardcore, that's how it goes. You know?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if that's how you actually wanted to play it or what, but that's what I did.
Yeah, it's already in history. That's how it works.
Yeah,
you know?
so that's what you get for not showing up, though.
Yeah,
so now your sanity score went from a 10 to a 9?
9 to an 8.
It said 10 on your sheet, I think, whenever they checked it, but did it go? I don't remember if it went up or not before then.
Down twice, up once, down once. So it should be at an 8.
Yeah, I guess. Like I said, we could check it later and everything, too, but
yeah.
I was just, it was a... So Bree said that the session we had, 2 weeks ago now, was probably one of her favorites because you guys were like robbing stores and like doing the classic almost murder hobo-y type thing.
Yeah.
And then this session, she said, was one of her least favorite. But I feel like it's because her character died.
Yeah.
She was real sad.
Also, are they aware that turning around and walking away from engagements is also a possibility?
Yeah, that's a solid choice. And I guess that's one of the things that I was going to get into. For a major topic of discussion.
Yeah.
And right now I don't have any like music or anything to change the mood, you know. But I don't know if you've seen the article yet or if you've read through it. And I think you were actually just reading through it when we were doing our mic test. But it's why your low-level characters should have unusually powerful items. And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it because I am of the mindset that like this could work out really well or it could work out really shittily. And the example that they give is there's if you want a ring of invisibility to fall into the hands of a first level character, so be it. No doubt a great story will arise from that event. Yep, that's a reference to The Hobbit, and we all know that the tale that emerged after Bilbo Baggins stumbled upon the Ring of Power in the Misty Mountains. So I guess he's trying to say that like Bilbo was like a low level halfling and then they gave him a ring of invisibility because he like just happened to find it or whatever. Like
Right.
And then I guess Frodo would also be a low level hobbit that had to like take it all the way to Mordor over the course of that like 13 months.
I would agree that Frodo is a low level hobbit, but is Bilbo really after months of adventuring when they get to that mountain still level 1? Like, didn't he like topple like 3 trolls? Or something
Yeah, he
like
killed
that?
trolls and stuff too. Yeah. I mean, honestly, fucking, how much experience does it take to go from level 1 to level 2?
Level 1 to level 2. Let's see.
Yeah.
Looking up now.
I don't know. I don't have that up in front of me.
I understand that's not the point of the article, but you know.
I'm sorry, I'm just having fun with the effects over here while you're looking for it.
Level 1 to level 2 is only 300 experience.
So 300 experience in D&D 5th edition, right? So now what is a troll? Hold on, I got my fancy new tablet up here, looking on official. This is not monsters, this is items. We need to look for monsters. Select monster, troll?
Yep.
Or hill giants. Oh, I guess I call them trolls, but they definitely look like hill giants. That's super nerdy for you there.
Yeah, because he was by himself because everybody else got captured.
They're challenge rating 5.
Yep.
According to D&D Beyond. And they give you, it's 1,800 experience for a challenge rating 5, which doesn't necessarily mean, that's how much it's worth. That doesn't necessarily mean that's how much he's going to get.
Yeah.
But even if he got like half that, he still leveled up to what, like level 2 and then level 3, I think, because it's like 600 at level 2.
Well, and I think there was 3 of them, so like you would do 1,800 times 3 for 5,400 experience, but he didn't kill him, he tricked him, which honestly you should still award your players for finding alternates to combat.
Yeah, I mean, if you pay attention in the movies, they were still there in the Lord of the Rings, which was like, 60 years later?
Yeah, even if you did half experience for finding a different way, that would be 2,700, which is exactly what you need for level 4.
Huh.
So from that one encounter, you could argue, and obviously scaling and all that kind of stuff, but you could make an argument that Bilbo's at least level 4 by the time he finds
just those trolls. Yeah,
because he defeated them by himself because they had captured all the dwarves and everything else.
Yeah,
he tricked them. Obviously, that's a different form of defeating them, but it still works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can argue that Bilbo's at least level 4 by the time he gets to that mountain.
Yeah,
true. Ring of invisibility.
Totally true. So, I mean, I guess that really just depends on what your definition of like a low level character is. Then, I mean, level 4 is obviously very low level for D&D. There's that's like a fourth of the levels that you can get,
right?
Because max level's 20. So, we're really off topic on this one though. Kind of rambling. # first show nerves, but yeah,
I think certain things are really good to hand out to players. Anything that does damage and stuff like that, I don't feel like you're going to feel the skewing too much, because PCs are obviously balanced way harder than creatures and monsters anyways. So anything that does an extra 2d6 damage here and there, you're not going to actually feel that as much of the impact of the game, in my opinion. Yeah, you're going to try to balance it a counter, and they obviously have a little bit easier time because your rogue can do an extra 2d6, plus it's already like 1d6 plus another d6 for a short sword.
What's something that does 2d6? Frostbrand, Frostbrand, like daggers or whatever. That's an extra. That's like a d4 plus an extra 2d6 damage.
Yeah, you're gonna feel it. But I feel like it's your game breaking mechanics are where you really gotta skim the line there, you know. So you give someone like a Helmet Telepathy level 1, right?
Yeah.
As a DM, you always want to plan things. You sometimes you want to put your villain in plain sight, or also when it comes to like bartering and stuff like that, a lot of people like to use Helmet Telepathy for getting cheaper prices.
Cheating is what you're saying.
Yeah. Cheaper prices are free. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing if you gave that to them, and if you did play it where they're under the suggestion spell and they have to do what's suggested. If that's how you're playing it, then they could just walk in and be like, "Oh, that's a belt of Storm Giant strength," and then it just compounds the issue. So I can see why you don't want to give game breaking mechanics out, but I can see an argument for damage if that makes sense.
I guess going back to the Bilbo Baggins example, is giving a ring of invisibility like game breaking to like a level 1 party?
I think it really depends on how you break it down.
Let's break it down like this then. So you play Whistler.
Yeah,
which is a construct, a Warforged, technically, but it's different in Finrath. And so if I were to give a Ring of Invisibility to Whistler at level 1, well, you guys started level 3, whatever. If I were to give Whistler a Ring of Invisibility at level 3 when you guys started this campaign, do you think it would have turned into, like they say, it segues into a plot foreshadowing or like a plot device, or is it just game breaking?
I think it really depends on how you, the DM, write it. Right? Yeah. If you want to give out a magical item and that's part of the plot, that's perfectly fine. I think if you randomly find it and you give it to a rogue, which Whistler is, it can get really broken really quickly.
Yeah.
Because the less consequences you have for players, the more likely they are to be jackasses, essentially.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's going to turn them into a murder.
And technically, the Ring of Invisibility they got is definitely a legendary item, because it's not like you can only use this once a day and then, you know, like it lasts for like an hour or anything like that. It's literally as long as he wears it, he's invisible. That kind of thing. So I do think that one is broken, but it was definitely for plot. And it makes sense, and it is a good adventure and everything like that. Yeah. The other side of that coin is it wasn't 5 people creating one adventure. It was one person writing an adventure, which is a little bit different because you control how that player acts and how those characters all individually act. The more people you get involved with that, the more your chaos theory kind of comes into play.
Yeah. I was just trying to look up the Ring of Invisibility here because it's, while wearing this ring, you can turn invisible as an action. Anything you are wearing or carrying is invisible with you. You remain invisible until the ring is removed, until you attack or cast a spell, or until you use a bonus action to become visible again. Actually, so the Ring of Invisibility in D&D 5th edition is a legendary item, requires attunement, and then it is a...
you just get to use it.
You just get to use it as many times as you want. Right. It's the standard invisibility, not like greater invisibility.
Yeah.
So you're limited by what you can do. Right. Well, sorry. Let me rephrase that. You're not limited by what you could do. You're limited by if you attack or do anything that like interacts with the world, you're gonna like snap out of the invisibility, so people are gonna see you again.
Right.
Unlike in, Lord of the Rings, where it's almost like he goes to a different realm or something, right? Like the shadow realm.
Yeah. The
Yugi boy.
The upside down.
The upside down.
At that point.
Yeah. So it's the article continues on talking about like. A deadly dagger segues into the plot foreshadowing. Take, for instance, the beginning chapters of Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, which is an adventure that I've never played and I don't really care to, where players may find themselves investigating Duergar crimes around 10 towns. Light spoilers ahead. Spoilers. At some point, players may fight a Duergar mindmaster hiding within the East Haven Ferry. My players faced this fellow when they were level 2, and it's a tough encounter, especially since he can call 3 goons to assist him and uses multi-attacks with Mind Poison Dagger. So this is what it's getting to. This Mind Poison Dagger is a 1d4 piercing damage plus 3d6 psychic damage for a level 2 party. So that's an average of 5. Well, if you have a 16, it's an average of 5 for the dagger and then 10 for the psychic damage, which is enough to KO a second level character with a few hits. One hit technically, close to it at least. What is that? 15 damage, and then I guess your average fighter would have I don't know, 15 health, right?
About 18. 19
oh yeah,
health.
because it's your
max.
total dice, max
Then,
dice,
yeah,
for the first level. But so it just talks about how giving your characters these items can turn into a new plot device. And so what they ended up having to do with this is it's a crazy dagger, and let me see. My players hadn't communicated with my master and his men before dispatching him, so they had no understanding of Undercommon. Nothing but the mind poison dagger, that is. Suddenly, my players became instantly interested in who was important. Oh, that's what it was. He described it as an extremely intricate dagger, and it's a really high-powered dagger that a man in a high office would get or get granted, right? And the way that he did it was none of his players spoke Undercommon, and that takes place in the Underdark, and it's a Duergar encampment, so they couldn't communicate with anyone. And then the way that he pushed the plot forward in this instance was giving them this dagger and then being who would be important enough to have the mind poison dagger? Who would be important enough to have this intricate dagger granted as a lieutenant or whatever? And I can see his point there. But going back to his original thought, I don't know if I would give a Ring of Invisibility to a level 1 party. Honestly, it opens up too many negative instances, shenanigans. Yeah, that's the word. Thank you. Shenanigans. It opens up too many shenanigans for the rogue in the party, because there's always going to be one that they can just go and assassinate whoever the hell they want and get away with it, pretty much.
Or they can go into a store and steal anything they want.
Yeah, and I guess I'm thinking from more of a story standpoint, it kind of jacks with what you're trying to do. And it opens up that murder hoboness in people. But I mean, I guess you're still limited by the amount of damage your character can do or whatever. Right. I don't know.
I would say, so I do feel like I said, damage dealing items I don't feel have as big of an impact as a lot of people feel, right? You're still first level, third level, something around there.
Yeah.
No class has an extra attack at that point. So you're really only getting that one bump that one time. If you're planning on facing other PCs, then that's a mentality problem as well. You know what I mean? You're not going to be facing a level 2 fighter traditionally. It's more you're going to face this camp of goblins. And then it doesn't matter if you did 1d4 plus 3 or 4 for your dex versus doing 20 damage to him, because that goblin only has 5 health anyways. So you're probably one-shotting him anyways. So
yeah,
target saturation's a big deal, that kind of thing. I don't really, like I said, I don't feel like damage you're going to feel it as much unless your party is solely only fighting one-on-one fights where it's 4 against 1.
Yeah. What's something that you think will break the game at that early of a level?
Again, damage I don't feel like it does as much, because again, with a rogue, you're already doing a little bit extra, but you're still limited by 1 attack through all 20 levels.
Yeah, I mean,
your fighters, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, an item,
just any item in general.
Yeah.
Again, I do think invisibility is a big deal, because you can do so much with it, right? Yeah. You as a player now have more control over what you get to see and experience than you did before.
Yeah. What about so? What's the classic one? The Book of Vecna.
Yeah.
So the Book of Vecna, or Book of Vile Darkness, I think is what it's called.
Right.
You should be able to look it up. It's a super legendary artifact that essentially grants you a bunch of crazy powers, and I think you have to be evil in order to contend with it. Hold on, Book
to be able to use it and everything like that. Yeah.
Of Vile. Oh! I misspelled stuff. All right. Book of Vile Darkness. Yeah, it's an artifact level, which is higher than legendary, I guess. And then it, whenever a non-evil character attunes to it, they have to make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the creature's alignment changes to neutral evil. That's interesting.
I have this book. Crazy. I'm evil now.
But it allows you to command evil, so you can cast Dominate Monster with a spell save DC of 18, which arguably no first or second level character is ever going to be able to defeat. And most monsters that you throw at a first or second level party aren't going to be able to get over that either. Dark Lore, Dark Speech. Take an action to recite the words from the pages. Each time you do so, you take 1d12 damage, and each non-evil character within 15 feet takes 3d6 psychic damage. So you just read from the book, and people take psychic damage. And then I guess what I'm getting at with this is, so like if I took this book, and if Vecna existed, I guess it would be like the Book of Barask or whatever in Finrath. But if I took this book and gave it to you guys right now at like a level, you guys are level 6, by the way. Dope. So you'll have to roll your health later. Off topic again, but if I gave this book to you guys at level 6, it does unlock a lot of potential, and I think more often than not, what it would end up being is a way for you guys to figure out a way to destroy it, or you guys just turn evil and then just go and like say, fuck everybody and like start destroying stuff.
Murder hobos.
Yeah. So
and then, again, that goes back to,
I guess that's what I'm more meaning. Like, is this like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to get your thoughts on it, because if I took like a super powerful artifact, like one of the vestiges of the Divergence that Matthew Mercer came up with, or like the Book of Vile Darkness from like Faerun or whatever it is, what would happen? Like, what would you guys do?
Well, I think a classic example is in the previous campaign that we played in. You gave legendary items to 2 players, the Books of Knowledge for charisma. And dexterity,
true. Yeah.
Right. Admittedly, that wasn't super low level. I think you gave them to us around level 8. Really low level to receive those items. It becomes more difficult for you because of what doors that opens up. Now you have a fighter with a gunslinger fighter with a dexterity of 22. So they're plus their fighting style and proficiencies and all that stuff, they're always getting like a plus 10 to hit. Meaning that you can almost guarantee that AJ's not going to miss.
Yeah.
At a certain point in the game, it was either... at a certain point in the game, I know that we were pretty much like either he blows up his own gun or he hits. That was the only 2 options.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As a gunslinger.
I do think they can be great storytelling elements. In the campaign that I'm running right now, I have 2 opposing weapons that I created, and I gave to an anti-party and the actual party. And the actual party has like the Sword of the Dragon Master, and that's kind of like driving them on this narrative, kind of like we were talking about. I do think like one, maybe, like you said, if you really want that narrative splash in there, is a great idea. You just have to be careful not to give out too many, because then you, the DM, have to overbalance what your stuff is to make it feel like there's any kind of challenge whatsoever.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I don't remember. What was it? I was trying to find that book that you're talking about, the one that gives you charisma, but I can't freaking remember the name.
Yeah, they're like tomes of knowledge or something.
Tome. Yeah. I was typing in book. I forgot this is high fantasy.
Yeah, that one's the Tome of Leadership, I think it is.
Tome of Leadership and Influence, yeah. And it makes your like charisma go up above 20, essentially. It goes up by 2.
Which
as
in 5th
does your
edition
maximum
is a big
score.
deal.
Yeah, huge deal in 5th edition. Yeah, because your +5 goes to a +6, and then if you're a max level party, that makes you automatically you have a +12 to hit with any weapon based off of that.
Right.
In this case, it's charisma, but you know what I mean. Like I think there's one for like dexterity, which is like you were saying, the one that we gave to I gave to AJ. I don't even think I gave that to him. I'm pretty sure we had a friend who was playing a wizard in a different campaign than I ran. And I brought him into your guys' campaign, the Tanakh campaign, the Ascension campaign. I don't know what I'm calling it yet. And and then he gave those books to you guys before he left as like hey guys, you're only like level 8. I'm a level 12. Here's these like fancy books that'll help you out, and you'll be able to like do whatever the hell you want with it. Like fucking stupid.
Yeah. And then it can clearly turn into a narrative thing where the bard, the tiefling bard, becomes more charismatic because his nature is that way, and eventually gains more and more power and over time and stuff to show quote unquote the badassery.
Yeah.
So I do agree. There are definitely a lot of storytelling elements you can do. And then I'm all for giving out more damage dealing items. You can always, level 1, if you really wanted to, just give whoever they're playing an extra 5-10 health, and you're going to feel the same effect or the same fighting style.
Yeah,
because you're still only swinging once. It's still only hit or miss. Or God forbid, give them like a 20 AC because they're walking around in full plate with a fighting shield. You know what I mean?
with a shield.
Yeah, and then their rogue may have the dagger, and they might be all shifty with advantage and stuff, but they're really only getting like a +5 to hit at that point in time.
Yeah.
+5 or 6.
A lot of this is boiling down to my lovely wife is going to be doing a one-shot for us, I think in like 2-3 weeks now, and we're starting at level 10, which you already know. I'm just more reiterating this for the people. And I'm having a hard time figuring out, when she's having a hard time figuring out what items to give to people at a level 10 party. And for Finrath, which is the continent that we play on, that's the continent that I created, it's a high magic campaign like Eberron. So it seems to me, if you had been adventuring all the way up to level 10, which arguably a lot of people want, it just depends on their backstory. Like your character and my character, we're going to be playing the two brothers, right? It's reasonable that we would have been adventuring, which means we would have either come across magic items or we would have been able to like work as mercenaries or something and make a little bit more money than the average person. So I don't know. It's just that's why I guess I have items on the mind, is because I'm trying to figure out what is balanced, you know. And I don't think D&D 5th edition does a very good job of. I don't think Wizards does a very good job of teaching you how to balance stuff for your campaign. They kind of just throw the books at you and are like, here's some rough estimates, and then like, oh, here, like, I think Xanathar's has like or Xanathar's or Tasha's, it might be Tasha's now. Tasha's Cauldron and everything has a list closer to the back of it that's like, oh, a level 10 party is supposed to have like 100 magic items ranging from like common, uncommon, maybe some rares, and that can include consumables. So you're like, oh, so am I supposed to give them like 30 potions of healing and then 70 other magic items? Like, that seems asinine, right? Like, right. So yeah, I think that's why my mind's on a lot of magic items, because I don't know. I don't know how to balance that very well. And I think I just sort of throw magic items at you guys, and then if it breaks the game, I'm just like, well, my bad.
You can give, you can take away, you know.
Yeah.
That's the joy of D&D. You can always take away stuff. People don't like it. People will always rally against it, but you get caught by bandits, you wake up and you don't have anything on you anymore. Yeah, and the bandits are just gone.
Yeah, that was another thing too. So I was talking to you about this at work, but I was reading through Out of the Abyss. Oh, man, that is such a good adventure. I've never like, I guess Curse of Strahd was the only other adventure that I wanted to run, right? Because I always wanted to like run my own like homebrew world. I wanted to have my own gods, my own environment for you guys to jack around with, and that's because I don't like learning other people's stuff. It feels too much like plagiarism, right? Yeah. But Out of the Abyss and Curse of Strahd, those are some badass adventures, and Out of the Abyss has so much stuff for like random encounters. That's what I was telling you. I was talking to Ryan about that the other day, actually. And oh my God, it is so good. And if you ever have a chance to like run it or at least read through it, I would highly recommend it as a DM. It is so good for figuring out like random encounters. The problem that I have with it is that it is all random encounters. Like, I guess you could always like play it and kind of be a little railroady where it's like, oh, you're running through the Underdark and like this happens, you know, like a rock fall or whatever, earthquake with lava. And of course you could do that. But in the same time, like yesterday when we played, when my lovely wife's character died, I had a series, like I basically had like the players roll a d20, like any random player, right? Like I've been doing lately. And I think the first one was like a 19, which was just like a random wizard that was just like fucking out for a jog. Like he had summoned a like steed or whatever. And then Ross's character, Ambrose, he just was very like nonchalant and was like, oh, well, we have a mission, so be on your way. And then like they're traveling with Tiefling, by the way. That's Zar, Great Doom. Yeah. You haven't met him yet because you fucking missed D&D. Can't believe you. But they're traveling with him, and he's like the leader of this caravan or whatever you want to call it, leader of this merchants guild. And he was basically like, we have a mission to do. We need to move on. And Ambrose was like, yeah, we got a mission to do. We need to leave. And Cap's like, but we can at least give him directions or help him find his like friggin' wizard's tower or whatever, since he's like lost in the middle of nowhere. Like, right. And they were like, no, let's just move on. And then they just like left the fucking dude out there. They were like, oh, east is that way. And then just like dipped out. And it's like,
sun rises in the east, bub. Yeah, thanks. I already know that.
Yeah, it was like, this could have been an amazing like ally or like anything else. Like you could have helped out something. And now they just didn't do it. And then the second encounter I had through this like 11-day journey was another D20 random roll, and it landed on a 2, so almost the crit fail and crit success. And the 2 was, oh man, I forget now. I lost my train of thought. Oh man, what was it? It wasn't a dragon or anything crazy. I know that. Holy shit. Let me pull this up.
Well, while you look that up, what I would say is random encounters are good, but I do feel like there is definitely a stigma to them. You almost feel like always whenever you roll on an encounter table that whatever you're doing is going to be combat based.
It was a prison transport of Blackguard, the army, the like elite AFSOC of Finrath, and they were transporting prisoners, and the prisoners that they were transporting were cultists. And they were going from Windcrest, which is south of Ebengard Post. Ebengard Post is your guys' like home area, right? Mm-hmm. So they were transporting these cultists from Windcrest or somewhere around there northward to Ebengard Post. And after the fact, everyone was like, "Oh, what are they? Wonder like, do they store prisoners at Ebengard Post? What's happening there? That's weird." But while it was happening, no one fucking did anything.
Well, no one did anything. Also, no one's going to remember it.
Yeah.
So by the time the adventuring party actually gets back up to Ebengard Post in like 2-3 weeks of gameplay, no one's going to remember dick all of that experience.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is because no one interacts with those kinds of things.
Yeah, and they just don't. I don't know. It's the same kind of thing with. So I introduced Cap's friend Marshall Slate, and no one like really interacted with him or asked him questions about like Cap's past or did anything with like that backstory. It was all, again, and I've talked to you about this, it's like everyone has their own individual like storyline,
right? Instead
of bringing it together as like a party kind of storyline. And you can't see all the hand gestures I'm doing right now, but it's it just, I don't know, I guess it all goes back to like random items, right? Like giving out random items to people. I'm almost afraid to do it to a low level party because I feel like if I was like, here's the Book of Vile Darkness by Vecna, and then if you have a whole group of, I don't know, quote unquote lawful good characters, they're still not going to take it to like the church and have them destroy it, right? They're not going to take it to the Temple of Celeste, right? Someone's going to try to use it, and then maybe that sparks another adventure. But at the same time, like, I don't know if that's as good, it's very predictable to have someone get a super rare magic item and then get corrupted by it, which I think is what the Lord of the Rings metaphor does well, is like the reason Gandalf didn't want to take the ring in Lord of the Rings is because he didn't want to get corrupted by it.
Right.
The reason that Frodo was able to do it is because he was that lawful good character that was stepping forward, and that's what made that amazing adventure. I don't think I have players like that right now. So
also, ultimately, Frodo did get corrupted by it, and our boy Samwise.
Oh yeah, Samwise Gamgee, save him fucking day. Hero. Everybody needs a Sam.
Hashtag Sam.
In this instance, can we change your name to Sam? Are you going to be Sam now?
Is that because I'm portly? And,
no, it's because I am obviously Frodo, the key leader in this adventure, and you're the side character that ultimately gets that no one knows and no one cares about.
Oh, is that
but
what it
saves the day?
I would say you're closer to like an actual character, more like the dwarf size or halfling height. So that's probably
I can see that too. Yeah,
and that's. Oh man! No, items are dangerous, right? PCs inevitably are also.
Dude, I like getting us back on track here. I like it, keeping us focused.
Level 10s, one shot is its own thing. If you give every level 10 a legendary item, you still only have to feel it for 1, maybe 2 nights. Right?
True. For
which
a one
is a
shot,
fun aspect.
Yeah,
that like the whole point of a one shot is, I've been playing this character, aka Whistler, for 11, probably 10 sessions since I missed last night.
Yeah,
I've been playing him. He only has like mundane items at the moment, that kind of thing. The relief of getting to play D&D is that you kind of take this like, we're gonna have one night to just be jackasses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like Rottenhorn.
Yeah, Roddenborn Storm Bros from a one shot that we did, where you gave 2 people legendary items. One was level 12, one was level 18, and then we got to do really cool stuff with that. So I do think for one shots you can kind of up that scaling, right? If you're starting your campaign off at level 10, I would say maybe across the board 1 rare for sure. Everyone has at least 1 uncommon type of armor or weapon. And that's only because the restriction there on armor or weapons is everything else starts to get really skewy. So you have your cloaks that cause disadvantage whenever you hit them. You have your helms of telepathy, your rings of invisibility, that kind of stuff, which that's a legendary, but you do have like your cloak of invisibility that you can pop up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I would say, and then so if you have 5 players, 1 to 3 rares, everyone has at least one uncommon, either armor or weapon, and then maybe splash in something legendary that one particular player has. That'd probably be about the skill level that I'd be looking at.
Yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that. And that did work out really well for that. You're talking about our Halloween one shot. That worked out really well for Robin mostly, but it also worked out really well for like a kind of a story that ultimately led to you guys being kind of the bad guys traveling with this other party, and then
hardcore
them having to deal with that.
I think I was lawful evil in that one.
Yeah. Because you followed like the code of Robin or whatever it was, right? The code of the Stormlord. And then, and I think actually Bree's character in that one too was what was she, an orc? No, she was a Goliath. She was a Goliath,
and she had the staff of the Magi.
Yeah.
Which was also a really dramatic moment that you can only do with a legendary level item like that, where she snapped it over her knee and wiped out the entire party.
Yeah. Trying to kill Robin. So she basically was trying to sacrifice herself, and he was like, nah, fam.
Yeah.
Because he also has one of those.
Well, he also has one, and he's a roguish type character that has like uncanny dodge, and it's a dexterity save. So he would
a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, everything. You know.
Yeah.
No, that's.
Plus, he's like a challenge rating 25 or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah,
so.
I do think Wizards is bad about releasing lists of like this is the exact gold price that I would put this item at. I do agree with that. I would say a lot of that's experience, which unfortunately for like newer DMs, that kind of thing. It just takes time to play it out and be like, if I give everybody that, it's going to be broke as hell, or it's going to be easy as hell.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, which is why, shameless plug, we do have a Discord of mediocre experts that you can actually go and ask those kinds of questions and get answers to.
I like that. I like that you're throwing that in there right now.
Yeah, you know. If you don't feel like you have that experience, or, you know...
Sorry, I'm gonna get us some like background music here in a second too.
No, you're good. You're good. So I think that covers the items pretty well. I've got my own question for you. We've talked about this once or twice.
Yeah. We're about to do the commenting comments too. Hold on.
Yeah.
This is gonna be weird. Boop. So it's playing. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm still not hearing anything coming through on.
Weird. Is it this one then? Huh. Oh.
There you go.
Woo!
There you go. Get you some synthwave.
Yeah, this is Hi-Fi by Harris Heller. I don't know if I've talked to you about Harris Heller before.
Yeah.
So he does stream beats on Spotify, and it's all like copyright free music. So hashtag unshameless plug to that guy, because he has literally provided hundreds, almost 1,000 songs that have like over 1 billion fucking views or what listens on Spotify,
right? Just
for people like us doing a stupid podcast, or like people on YouTube or whatever to use.
Yeah,
insane, and it's all free,
right?
Which is kind of dumb. Yeah, I just want to throw some stuff up in the background. I guess it's there low. All right. What's your question for me? Sorry, I got distracted. I got distracted with our fancy gear.
The commenting on comments section for you.
Oh, we're moving into that now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have my comments on me.
You don't have your comments on me? That's fine.
I had them, but I know exactly which ones I wanted, because they were all the same ones we've always.
Well, I'll start it off. All right. So
go ahead.
We've talked about this before, but the Tarrasque.
Oh God.
Yeah, I feel like the Trask is a highly debated thing in the community. A lot of people think that it's either too weak or too strong. Some of my favorite comments are things as, if I was a DM, I would use this as a final boss for my campaign once all players, minimum of 7, have reached level 20 and at least one magical weapon that is enhanced to +3 per person. Like, honestly, not really.
I don't think you need all that. I don't think you need all that to take out a Tarrasque. Maybe you do. But if you had a party of 4 to 6 level, like 20 fighters, right, that have magic weapons, doesn't that get through the Tarrasque's like magic armor?
Yeah.
The problem is if you have a whole party of casters. So if you have like 6 sorcerers that all use fireball, like That's not going to work because I think it has that
bounces off.
Yeah, it has that
spell
carapace.
absorption,
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah,
spell absorption like carapace or whatever. Yeah, that's.
I
don't think you need that. I think that the whole, and we've talked about this too with me. I think that what makes heroes is. This is good music for this. I think what makes heroes are the people that struggle for it, right?
Yeah.
So if you had like all level 20s that all had enhanced weapons +3 Vorpal greatswords or whatever,
right.
I don't think that would be much of a challenge. I think you would be hitting every turn.
Yep.
You would constantly be dealing damage, and it would just be a grind like Borderlands or something, right? Like where you're just spraying bullets into people to get them to die.
Yeah,
I don't think that's fun, right?
Even
like,
its damage is like 20 or 30-ish per attack. It gets like 3 or 4 around, so you are dealing some stuff out. You're probably hitting some people. But again, you're talking about a 20th level party.
Yeah.
Right? A rogue, an assassin rogue with a +1 dagger and has its death save. If it fails, it would still deal like 20% of its health round 1. Something like that. You know what I mean? A ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
And I do think that all level 20s, I think that would be too easy almost. You know, I would say you could probably do it if you have a well-balanced squad of probably 14s with a few magic weapons here and there. I think you could really do it probably right around that range.
It's a challenge. It's challenging 30, right?
I
think that's.
so. It's
I think
pretty
that
high.
And what Tiamat?
It's pretty high. It feels neutered from previous editions. So previous editions, you couldn't get around its carapaces and stuff like that unless you used a wish spell to make it not immune to magic and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's the sorcerer effect, right?
Yeah.
The sorcerer is arguably one of the least loved classes in D&D Beyond right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Tarrasque was really broken because even if you killed
that.
it would come back after X amount of days or something like that. And then, it's still a terror around. And they really kind of took it. They took a creature and they kind of dumbed it down for 5th edition.
Yeah.
To make it easier to play against and other things like that. I also like the...
of note, Ryan was going to try to work on that. So we were trying to add a 3rd continent to like the Finrath lore, right?
Yeah.
So we have Finrath, Ebrium, and then he's trying to make a 3rd continent, which is kind of the idea I was giving him was more tribal, I guess, more dinosaurs, more Tomb of Annihilation kind of stuff. And he mentioned that he wanted to kind of have 2 continents sort of split, like one massive continent, basically Pangea, right? And then down the middle is just a wasteland. And in the center of that wasteland is just Tarrasque that's just chilling and sleeping, which is why neither one of those continents ever march an army across, because it would obviously wake up the Tarrasque and they would just get fucked.
It'd be rough.
Yeah, it would just be real bad. And I was like, that's actually not a bad idea, because with the lore of Finrath, all the planes collapsing in on themselves and then being righted to their correct thing. So the reasonable assumption that a Tarrasque could just be rampaging around on the Prime, which means there could be a chance that you guys could go and fight a Tarrasque on a different continent if it decided to wake up or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think a reasonable party of, I don't know about 14s. I would say maybe 16s, probably 17s or above. And I think that's because at 17, a lot of the classes in 5th edition get all of their good.
Right.
Occasionally 18, I think, but I think 17 could be a solid one.
Right.
Is that when fighters get 4 attacks?
4 attacks is 20 for fighters.
Is it?
3 is 11.
I think you're lying to me.
20.
What?
Because we talk about this every time. Old Rottenhorn was 19, only had 3 attacks, and then Action Surge for 6.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think you're lying to me.
But it does go back to a 20th level fighter. I think a 20th level fighter with just a +1 sword averages something like 96 damage if it hits with all of its attacks.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because are you factoring in hitting with all 6 attacks, with Action Surge and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
If you hit with all of them. Which Trask has an AC of 25, so it's not super easy. But it's still a plus. You still have a plus 13 to hit or something like that around that age.
Yeah, so you have a... Well, what is a Tarrasque AC?
25.
So you got to go to 12 or above?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You were not wrong. Throwing all these facts at me and stuff, I guess. I guess, yeah. Because there was that guy that we always talk about who said that his what, level 7
Oh yeah,
party?
he's like, my level 7 party beat this. Thanks, Ring of 3 Wishes.
Yeah.
It's like, no, your Ring of 3 Wishes beat
Yeah,
it.
yeah, not a level 7 party like your Ring of 3 Wishes did.
Literal 3 wish spells just going off. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might have to run some scenarios on this in order to get like figure out what could actually beat a Tarrasque.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of what can actually beat a Tarrasque, and you're not going to like what I'm about to say, is a Clay Golem.
A Clay Golem? What?
It
Why?
does not feel right. Right? It
No, it doesn't. Clay Golem's what, a challenge rating 11 or something?
Yeah,
or
it
8?
like, hold on, I have it up here. Clay Golem is challenge rating 9.
What?
Beats a Tarrasque. Hands
Why?
down, every single time.
Is it because it's like immune to something?
It is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage that are non-magical, and a Tarrasque's claws are not considered magical.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. You're
Yeah,
lying.
I'm
You're
not
lying to me.
Guess who doesn't have that? A Tarrasque. But guess whose weapons are considered magical? A Clay Golem.
Why? What are you doing, wizards? Hold on. Let me look this up.
Yeah, it's dumb, right?
Clay Golem.
It hurts. It's an AC of 14, which the Tarrasque gets like plus 14 to hit.
So it's always going to hit it.
Yeah, but it literally can't do damage to it.
Well, it's immune.
Yeah.
So it says acid, poison, psychic, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't adamantine. And obviously the claws on a Tarrasque are not adamantine.
Yep.
So it is immune to non-magical attacks.
To the damage that a Tarrasque would be able to do.
Unless it's,
So with its AC of 14 and 133 hit points. So,
no fucking way.
So there's your real fix for a level 7 party, is your wizard goes out and spends a year creating a Clay Golem, and then you just drop it in the same trench as a Tarrasque, and easy money.
I am shook right now.
That hurts a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah, because I read the comment that was like, hands down, Clay Golem wins. I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah, and then the Tarrasque says that it is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks, but if a Clay Golem's attacks are magical...
Yep.
Why does that work? Why? Why does that work?
Well, the best part is, right, so as a DM... If you as a player come up to me and drop a Clay Golem in front of a Tarrasque, and you're like, no, you think can't beat it. Guess what has a Carapace that absorbs magic? Which
Clay
means
Golem,
that it
yeah.
had, which means
Oh no, a Tarrasque. Sorry,
a Tarrasque has
a Clay Golem.
Yeah, oh my god, the Tarrasque naturally has magical absorption properties.
Yeah.
So to me, as a DM, I'm probably not going to rule it where a Clay Golem wins. Rules as written, it does. However, for me personally, they'd probably be like, no, it's immune, and I'd be like, cool. The Tarrasque bites it and sucks all the magic out of it. Your Clay Golem's
eats
dead.
it. It could still get eaten, right? So
yeah, but as long as you do like enough damage and around you escape from a Tarrasque and stuff like that.
yeah, and I don't think a Clay Golem can do that much damage. What is it, like 30 damage or something? So I guess what I'm getting at is, and this might be just one of those weird rulings, but if a Tarrasque bites down on a Golem and does not deal damage, does it still get its swallow ability? I know
think
that's
it's
a
considered
thing.
a grapple, and then it's swallowed after that.
Okay.
And then the other thing with a Clay Golem is it's immune to acid damage, which while it's in the stomach of a Tarrasque is dealing
to acid damage,
Yeah.
Non-magical acid damage, which is just fucking crazy. Why? Why does that work?
So yes, but in my instance, if I had a party drop a Clay Golem in front of a Tarrasque, the Tarrasque still wins.
Yeah.
And people are going to complain about that and everything else, but that's because to me, why wouldn't a Tarrasque be able to body slam and absorb its magic, and now it's not immune? Or be able to suck the magic out of a Clay Golem?
Because it's not in the rules, Jake. Because
it's
no rules written. No rules written.
Yeah. Your challenge rating 9 is not going to beat a challenge rating 30 creature in my world. That's, I mean, honestly, though, if they came up with that on their own, like uninhibited or anything like that, and then they had fun with it, maybe I would. You know what I mean? It goes all back to the rule of cool. If they drop like 10 Clay Golems on a Tarrasque to hold it down or something like that, could be a fun element to add into it.
Yeah, dude. I can't believe that works, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even think about that. Like when you think of monsters that would take on the Tarrasque, the Beast Boy, right?
Tiamat.
Tiamat. Yeah. Fucking someone else, like what is his name? I call him Abigor because copyright, but oh my god.
Like a King of the Abyss.
Grozit.
Level
Yeah.
demon.
Like just demons and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really ever think of or like you get obviously the classic like legendary hero thing where you give him like the sword of badassery and then he goes and stabs the Clay Golem once and it dies. Or well, I think they did that in Lord of the Rings, didn't they? The black bolt You know what I'm talking about? Where it takes out the. It was in the Hobbit. It was in the Hobbit. They take out the dragon at the beginning of the second movie or whatever.
He has the dragon slaying arrow that he slings from
the
like
single dragon. That was in
bell
the
tower.
That was in the article about magic items. So like about giving your party broken items, like a dragon slaying arrow or something.
Well, it's almost like it's a writing device, which it does talk about. It's almost like it's a writing device so that you don't TPK an entire adventure shorthandedly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is why, in my opinion, The Hobbit is way worse than Lord of the Rings. Like, I do not like those movies at all.
Because it's just handed to him.
Yeah. Because, well, that's what it is. Like, you have this huge buildup, right? Huge buildup of Smaug. And then I think, I can't remember if it's at the end of the second movie, I'm pretty sure they see him. And then they like talk to him briefly, and then at the beginning or at the end of that movie, he's flying off towards the city to like go and burn it. Right? Beginning of the third movie,
also kind of a dick
is
move.
the huge fight. It's like 30 minutes, and then it's over. Like done. Yeah. TPK, Smog's over. Like
that's 100% like the videos that you see online where someone walks in and slaps someone sleeping, and they just start swinging at someone else.
Yeah.
Like dude wakes up and is like, I'm gonna burn a city down. And it's like they had nothing to do with this. What are you talking about?
They're just close. Wow, way to be a dick, Smaug.
Smaug. That's Benedict Cumberbatch. Thank you very much.
That's true. Have you seen that video of him where he's doing like the mocap for Smaug, and he's like,
I'd so get good, into man. It. I'd 100% get into it.
He's an amazing actor.
Little known fact: they actually turned him with plastic surgery into a real dragon for that role.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow.
Cost $3.6 billion.
Yeah. So just a Dragon Slayer sword. Actually, no. I think this is it's a weapon. Any sword, +1 to hit, attack and damage. It's magic weapon, right? And then when you hit a dragon with this weapon, it takes an extra 3d6 damage. And it says, for the purpose of this weapon, dragon refers to any creature with a dragon type, including dragon turtles and wyverns. The reason I'm bringing this up and the reason I'm pointing this out is because going back to that, the dragon slaying bolt or whatever, that black bolt that was made by the dwarves or whatever it was, I don't know, some stupid shit, Ex Machina crap. That bolt would have been a dragon slaying bolt.
Yes.
Last time I checked, dragons don't have just 3d6 health. So why would one bolt going through this fucking thing?
Especially not ancient dragons.
Ancient Smaugs. Yeah, ancient Cumberbatches.
Which I think, so the one cool thing about Tolkien lore is dragons are massive. So he was actually not an ancient dragon by Tolkien standards. Because the actual ancients are like mountain ranges, huge and stuff like that.
Jesus, yeah. But the Tolkien standards are real weird.
Even your youngest dragon still has more than 3d6 health to it, you know?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit there. I totally agree. It's real dumb. It's real dumb. I can't believe I forgot my commenting on comment section for this.
That's all good.
Oh, man. The music keeps, like, shifting, too, and I need to make it not do that. There we go. Repeat. Yeah, I totally forgot. Like, they're on my computer, actually, next door. Yeah. Technically.
No, that makes sense.
What was your other one?
The other one that I have, there was an article on D&D Beyond that talked about multi-classing, and it was, like, an easy to multi-classing, and a lot of it was, like... a lot of the comments on comments were like, oh, I wish this was more in depth, but it was a beginner's guide. Yeah. Which is also like, whenever you read a beginner's guide to something, you shouldn't expect something crazy in depth. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The only one that really bothered me is this one individual who was like, nice for a quick intro to aggravating purists at your FLGs. 2 thumbs up. Hope we can get a deep dive soon. Only complaint is the glaring factual inaccuracy at the end. That builds too many druids. Is not possible. If you're not shittier than Ted Cruz on a trip to Cancun for the weekend, you are playing this game incorrectly. # sorry, not sorry. But also...
Wait, so did he just compare, like, himself to Ted Cruz going to Cancun? Like, is that what he's saying?
He is saying that's how he plays D&D with multi-classing and stuff like that.
That's a shitty thing to do, though, isn't it?
That's 100% a shitty thing to do. If you come into my thing and you completely disrupt the entire flow and story that I'm trying to tell, there's a chance I'm going to kill your character.
100%. There's a chance I'm going to kill you. Like, you know how hard I work on writing every week? Nah, fam. Just kidding, NSA. That's not a real thing. I'm not going to murder anyone. Just calm down. It's
a mentality thing, right?
Wow, that's such an asshole thing to say. Like,
It tells me that he shows up to game stores that are running Adventurers League, and tries to mid-max everything that he possibly can to be as aggravating to everybody at the table.
And Adventurers League, didn't they just get rid of the like weird Player's Handbook +1 rule that they had, or like you could do like 2 books, but it was always like 1 book +1, right?
Right.
And they just got rid of that, which opens up a million opportunities for multi-classing. So you can have like an Ozimir from the DMG or whatever, and then like take Circle of Stars Druid from Tasha's, and then like some other bullshit class, and just jack it up all over the water, which makes it fucking impossible to balance encounters. Like even D&D Beyond has a fancy fucking tracker now, encounter builder, right? Shout out to D&D Beyond, they're doing good work over there. And I was using it yesterday, but because I didn't factor in the Hexblade Warlock that we have, the Whistler with the Rogue and the shotgun and shit, like because I didn't factor in those things, the encounter was like, oh, this is gonna be deadly. Fucking Ambrose jumped in front of a center of like 4 people, thunder stepped away and did nearly 100 points of damage. It was like 20 points of damage to like 5 people, admittedly, but he wiped out 4 cultists with 1 3rd level spell. But that's supposed to be a deadly encounter according to like the way that the experience
Everything
balances out and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, and that's it. And again,
and that's why multi-classing. I fucking hate multi-classing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like that like you've played in plenty of my campaigns. Like part of the reason that I hate multi-classing is because it breeds min-maxing, and I despise min-maxing. I think that makes like it's a fun way to play the game, whatever you want to do, like I don't care, but I've never wanted to be a Superman level character. Like when I was a kid, I never wanted to be Superman,
right.
I didn't want to be broken. I always liked like Spider-Man, right? And we're talking like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, because # millennial over here in your 50s. So I like the Tobey Maguire, every single one of those movies. Admittedly, they weren't the best Spider-Man movies, but I'm a kid, right? 12 years old.
Sure.
And so he was always getting his ass kicked and then always fighting through that to be a hero. And that's what I liked about it more. I don't like min-maxing my character to make it to where it's like, oh, I got a 20 and 5 different stats, so I'm going to be the rogue, I'm going to be the tank, I'm going to be the DPS because I can do all of that. And then your party just get fucked out of everything, because the whole point of D&D is to work as a group.
Right. Well, it goes back to the theory of stepping back.
Yeah.
If you were all heroes, all of you have a set role that you can do.
Yeah.
Legolas in Lord of the Rings, because we've talked about that a majority of this particular session, is a badass archer who can take out dozens and dozens of people, but who actually carried the ring? Frodo.
And he was the hero that nearly died. Well, Samwise technically did because he carried Frodo, who carried the ring. Which is basically just like, oh, can an elevator lift Thor's hammer?
Yeah.
And like
if I can't carry the ring, I'll carry you.
You let us be once and for all. Come on, Mr. Frodo. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. Come on!
That's exactly how that works.
Just straight up. And and it goes back to whenever you're playing a game, and it's your imaginary game, you get to play it however you want to.
Yeah.
But
no, you don't.
That also means that there's 5 other people at the
No, you
table.
don't. You don't get to play it however you want to play it. The DM gets to build it however he wants to build it, and then you can play through that world. That's the difference here. Like, and that's the mentality that dickbag over there comparing himself to Ted Cruz has. Yeah. And I'm wondering if he's just doing that to get likes on the internet. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. Ultimately, there's other people at the table.
Yeah.
That also want to play and have an experience. Yeah. If you are good at everything, no one gets to play.
Yeah.
And that's kind of shit.
And that's what multi-classing allows for, because you can like, oh, I take 2 levels in Bard or whatever it is, and I get expertise, or 2 levels in Rogue and I get expertise, right?
1 level in Rogue gives you expertise. And 2
1
skills.
level? God, yeah, see, and even that, like, and then there's those people that say, like, if you're going to multi-class, you should always just take 1 level of Cleric, because it gives you, like, healing spells.
Right.
And it gives you whatever, like, the default Cleric bullshit is for that, like,
3
domain.
levels of Hacked Warlock, so you can summon your blade.
Oh, yeah, and use Charisma, so you can be, like, a Sorlock, a fucking, what is it, Paladin Warlock, a Witch Knight. Like, oh, man, there's just, yes. Those characters build really good ones. I have multi-classed characters all the time, but I always multi-class my characters when it is like when it's good for the story, right? So, like, I don't know, what's a good example of this? I did actually one of the characters I built was Alistair. Alistair was a Fey, like it was a Fey warlock and a druid. Circle of the Moon. And on top of all of that shit, he was a werewolf, which you can barely fucking be a werewolf in D&D 5th edition. I think actually when you become a werewolf, I'm pretty sure the DM takes control of your character when you transform.
Yep.
Which is kind of shitty. But yeah, so he was a werewolf. His mother had sold him into like the Fae Queen's like service when he was a child, because you fuck having parents in D&D 5th edition, am I right?
Right.
And yeah, that was a good multi-class. And I did that from like level, I think the campaign I played in, we were level 6s, and I did like 3 levels Druid, 3 levels Warlock. But that also doesn't do anything. I had to focus on so much stuff. Like I had to focus on charisma, and then I had to focus on wisdom, and then I'm like, well, how am I going to avoid taking damage? Like, is it going to be constitution that allows me to sustain, or like dexterity allows me to dodge? Like, I don't know. Like it was a lot of work, and it turned into a very good character that later got added into one of my campaigns that I was running as a DM, and I think it worked out well. But I also didn't min-max it. I just built that because that's me being, yeah, it was a good story, and it was also me being like, oh well, this is the character's backstory, and so obviously I have to put whatever classes it's going to be and whatever fits best.
Right.
Which,
well, PCs are inherently broken in 5th edition. PCs are broken in 90% of the games that you play that are tabletop based.
yeah.
And whenever you start adding other
trophy.
things in, it's going to get more broken. Even if you take the worst classes and you start mashing them together, you're getting features of things that are broken from both.
Yeah.
I do think multi-classing has its place, has its purpose. If you want something that's broken, I think that's something you got to be upfront about. Be like, hey, I'm going to do this Bugbear Sentinel build so that people can't get past me.
Yeah, so that you have like a 15-foot range.
And it's that honesty. Because again, if you have a storytelling DM, they're building a world to engage everybody.
Yeah.
Right? You stopping every encounter because nothing can be within 15 feet of you stops other people from playing.
Yeah, and it also makes it, yeah, it does. It really, really does. It really does. I totally agree. Like,
yep.
Fuck that Bugbear build.
However, as a DM, now maybe I have some Ari Kokras that come down, and now they're hailing you from 30 feet up in the air with arrows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Guess who doesn't get to play then? The Bugbear.
Yeah.
But all your ranged and sorcerers and everything else get to kind of engage at that point. So there's ways around it, but ultimately, a lot of min-maxing is to maximize you being a dick at the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not always a bad thing. It's
turning you into Ted Cruz.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I do think that's a mentality issue. It is, for me, even if I had 20s in every single stat in a character, and I mid-maxed the shit out of it in order to create this awesome, I can do anything character, me sitting at a table, that's not fun if I do everything. I don't want 5 hours of me and the DM playing a game.
Yeah.
I want 5 hours of everyone at the table playing a game. And for instance, in our current campaign, we actually have 2 people that are proficient with thieves' tools, and I happen to be like maybe 1 point better than the other person, but that doesn't mean I need to pick every lock.
Yeah.
Just because I happen to have a 12 and she has like an 11 in something means that sometimes it needs to be like, hey, I'm not really sure what's going on, and I step back.
Yeah.
Because now that person gets to play the game. That person gets to feel that accomplishment of actually popping the lock open.
Yeah.
You know?
And well, it was the same thing you did with Tanakh, but I think that was more of a... Because Tanakh had a 22 for charisma.
Yeah.
And... again, my lovely wife, she would try to speak to people with a 9 in charisma and would fail miserably at diplomacy. Meanwhile, you got Tanakh over here that gets a plus 13, plus 14 or something closer to the end of the game.
Plus 15 at the end of the game.
Yeah, plus 15 at the end of the game. Yeah. So he would succeed pretty much every time.
Yeah.
Like
to be convincing, yeah.
Yeah, to be convincing.
And the only time that the character talked up for those instances, because she was passionate about certain things, is if it looked like she was failing miserably.
Yeah.
Because other than that, it's like she's talking out of her ass trying to convince people, and then you just have this person who's like, all right, that's enough. All right, we're going to do this, and this is why.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, now it sounds like a good idea.
It sounds good. Look at his abs. That's what makes me convinced now.
It's got a good face.
It's got a good face, you know. It's just a trustworthy tiefling face.
Trustworthy face, you know.
Yeah, so
makes a lot of sense.
Oh man, did you have another? You had a third?
No,
one?
those are the 2 that I had for this one.
Okay, yeah,
yeah. Which I think that covers quite a bit. You know.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. And I guess to sum this whole thing up, like, it depends on the items that you give out to players that can break the game, and I do think it could get some good story elements, but. I mean, honestly, in my current campaign, I don't think we would have very many people that would go to the Mordor to get rid of the One Ring, you know? Mm-hmm. And then apparently multi-classing is the only way to go and if you want to be more like Ted Cruz, then multi-class. And I'm not even sure what all else we talked about in this moment here, but I know you got to get going here shortly. So yeah, we'll wrap up a little bit, and then we'll see you next time. But the main thing I wanted to wrap up is so like Jacob mentioned earlier, we do have a Mediocre Experts Discord, and I'll put the link in like the bottom of wherever all of this like podcasting stuff's going to actually end up being, which may or may not work because Discord likes to be weird with that. So you can come there and ask us like all kinds of questions. I have a Twitch stream that I do along with a YouTube channel, twitch.tv/ZombieNikon, and then my YouTube channel, you just search ZombieNikon, all one word, and you should get there to me. I promise I'll have some more stuff on there. I think I'm actually going to do a like gameplay from our 7 Days to Die sessions that we do every so often, and I'm going to like overlay this podcast onto it and probably upload it on like Wednesday or something if that's cool. But I don't know. I think that's all we have.
Yeah, if you have any questions, make sure to email mediocreadvice@outlook.com, and we'll try to address those questions as often as we can.
Yeah, and I'll drop that I'll drop that link in the description too. If you have any questions about D&D 5th Edition, Warhammer 40K, Jake's a pretty big expert on that. Anything you need. Life. Something's hurting you, talk to us about it. We'll help you out. So yeah. We'll get this outro started.
Hell yeah.
Slowing down, sultry tunes.